Hey guys, so welcome back to the channel. Now you might be wondering why I'm recording things like this. I kind of messed up the video, so I decided to just do the camera section of it first. This is the 4K 60 frames camera that comes with the Pixel. Just so you guys know how good it is, how smooth it moves. It's actually a pretty good phone in my opinion, and I actually use this for a lot of my YouTube videos in general. Here's a little mural up on 69th Street. I decided to do some shopping, so I said, hey, let me record this right now and get it over with. Now, later parts of this video, I am going to talk about the cameras, basically what they're capable of doing, but I was supposed to cut away and show you guys. Instead, I made a mistake, just kept recording the whole video like, I don't want to record this whole thing over again, so I'll just do the cameras first. So pretty good, 60 frames, works very well. You see the colors. I haven't done any major setting changes to the camera whatsoever outside of just putting it on 60 frames in 4K. It does do Ultra HD, which falls under 4K, full HD, up to 60 frames, pretty decent. You can't go wrong with that. Pictures come out pretty good too. I'm not going to do pictures for this part of the video only because you see how the camera is, so the pictures come out practically the same as the video recorder. But I am going to do a front camera for you guys, so let me see if I can stop the video and flip that. So as for the front camera, here we are. Now, it does have like a beautification mode. Crazy homeless people. Anyway, it does have a beautification mode, but let me just show you how it looks in general, how the ground looks, the dirt on the front camera, things like that. Very beautiful camera. So if you're one of those photographers that like taking pictures, this is a phone that's very affordable, very cheap. I talk about it in the video, but I'll repeat it. $49 new line plus first month service. You're looking at free for porting if you're coming from a carrier that's not using T-Mobile network. $170 for upgrade and about $379 for regular. So with that being said, let's get into this review. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to talk to you about the Pixel 6a, and this is going to be the Metro by T-Mobile versions. Basically reasons to buy it and reasons not to buy it. So let's get the specs out of the way. And just in case you're wondering, I do have a Pixel right here, 6a. It's the phone that I primarily use for myself every single day. I purchased it the first day that Metro by T-Mobile allowed me to. Unfortunately, certain retailers might wait until the 27th, 29th to actually sell it. I got mine super early, so I don't know if I was supposed to get it, but hey, I have it. I'm not mad about it. It's a wonderful phone for what it does. Battery life isn't too bad, but let's go over that now. So I am going to tell you the pros and cons. I don't want to lie to any general public about anything. Some people are going to agree with me, some aren't, but it is what it is. So the first thing let's talk about is the screen size. You're looking at a OLED HDR 6.1 inch screen. So to kind of put that in perspective, for all you iPhone users that have a iPhone XR, 11, 12, 13, and currently 14, that is 6.1 inches. Now the dimensions and width may be a little bit different than a Pixel phone because it is Android, but outside of that, to me, that is not the ideal size. I would say that that's the average size of a phone should be, no smaller than that. The Pixel 6a was like 5.8 inches, I think, which was a real disaster, if we're being honest here. Like, that's a little bit too small, but this is one I'm actually keeping. So IP67, dust and water resistant. You're reading it with me, so we're reading it together. Front glass, obviously, it's glass right here. Let me turn that on so you guys can go ahead and see that. Here we are right here. So this is the screen that I'm using right here. You can't really see it. It's a lot of lighting inside this room right now. I got to work on that. 1080 by 2400 pixels, and it has a pixel density of 429. So because of the screen being smaller and the type of screen that it is, that's why the pixel density is so high. And if you look at the Samsung A54 5G under Metro, the pixel density, I think it's a tad bit lower, but it is a bigger screen and it's Super AMOLED. So, you know, take that however you want. Now, it does ship with Android 12, though mine is on Android 13 like anybody else's. The Google Tensor processor, and I believe you get 3 years worth of software updates. So even though it came out in mid 2022, it's reaching July, August. Yeah, it's reaching that 1 year point, but the phone still works great. It still works fine. There is a Pixel 7a that was recently released, but you have to understand that for the price of what I paid for this, and I'm going to let you know now, I paid about $150 for the phone. Now you may ask, well, what do you mean? For people that are porting to the carrier, the phone is free. You just pay for the first month activation, any case, if you plan on getting one. For people that are upgrading, I believe it's $170. I could be wrong, but I believe it's $170. And then for people that are doing new numbers, the phone is actually $49.99 plus the first month bill, which they normally put you on a $60 plan in store, then with taxes and fees, and then, you know, you get charged up the ass. Excuse my language for that one, but you get charged up for the phone. Keep in mind that they're selling it, I think, for like $379 regular, if straight out, if you're not eligible for an upgrade. And good news, within 6 months with all Metro products, be it iPhones or other Androids, it will unlock itself after the 6 months. So you'll be able to actually use it for other networks if you go out the country and things like that. So it does have always on display. I personally turn that off because I like conserving my battery. Now, when we look at the Google Tensor processor, I could sit here to read you all the octa-core, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. The problem with this is you're not going to know how it actually works in real time, especially you gamers out there. So let me kind of give you an example of the processor. Whenever I play Call of Duty Mobile, it feels like the screen is smooth, but if I do feel like there's a couple dead spots in the screen whenever I'm playing high intensive games that require me to do just erratic movements, running away, sliding, and dodging. I do have an issue with that from time to time. The processor doesn't heat up too much when playing a game, but if you're doing it for over 30 minutes, an hour, you are going to feel some heat coming from your phone, especially if you have no case on it, to the point where it's a possibility that you're going to want to put it down and let it basically cool off. Pixel never really fixed that problem. They had, well, put it this way, it's not as bad as it was with the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro, but it is pretty bad, but it's much better with the 6A. So, and given the price tag, like I said, for what I paid for, it's $3 insurance. So I would say the replacement for this would be between $60 to $100, depending on the tier of insurance it is for Metro. You have to call Insureon to actually ask them how much it would cost, because the Metro stores act like they don't know. So just keep that in mind. But it is in a certain tier amount where it might cost you up to $100. It's between $60 to $100 to replace it through insurance, which is still better than paying the upgrade fee and regular price for the phone. Keep in mind, it is a much more powerful device than most mid-tier devices in the United States that work perfectly with all the networks. I'm not referring to outside Oppo and other companies that you got to order. I'm talking about walking into a store and buying a phone. 128 gigs, 6 gigs of RAM. I don't have a problem with that. No card slot, which is a pain. I was about to say something else. I don't like the fact that it doesn't have a card slot. It should have one, but they decided to take that away. And for me, 128 gigs isn't really enough for what I do, since I'm constantly using videos and just dragging and dropping and editing videos through UCut and add music and different things. It's ideal, but I can't hold too much information on this phone at one time, especially given the camera array, which holds a lot of it's a good camera. That's all I'll say. It's a very good camera. Now, you know what? I'll do you guys a solid. I'm going to actually skip this part, the cameras, and I'm going to show you pictures of the camera itself so you can see it with your own eyes, how good it looks, how clear it is. I'll edit it that way because I was actually going to do a full unboxing review of the Pixel 6a, but instead, I'll just show you the cameras in real time. I'll go outside, take some real photos and stuff, and then we'll go from there. So let's go ahead and keep going. As a matter of fact, just understand that when this video stops and you see the camera, then I'm coming right back. It's a cut. The camera is, the battery is 4110 mAh. Obviously non-removable, most aren't. You can do an 18-watt wire connection, fast charging. It doesn't come in a box. The dongle will not come in a box. It's just USB-C to USB-C for the cord. So with that being said, you know, they took what Apple and Samsung did. A lot of people are going to be mad about that. Your traditional chargers that are USB-C will work for this phone just fine. The problem is that you may not get the fastest charging speeds unless you have the dongle, USB-C dongle that supports 18-watt charging. Now mine, I don't use 18 watts. I use either 25, which is my Samsung ones, works perfectly fine, or I'll use 30, or even a 45-watt charger with my Steam Deck charger's 45 watt. Now, when I tried it, did the phone get hot while charging? No, believe it or not, it didn't. Each charger felt like, I'm assuming that it only allows the 18 watts to charge through the phone, even if it's a higher charger. Now, I'm not saying for you to use a 25-watt charger or even a 45-watt charger. Just for safety reasons, don't do it. I don't mind because I did it for video purposes, but I haven't had any issues so far, and it's been, a couple weeks or so since I had the phone, so keep that in mind. Now, with that being said, there's no wireless charging. The video is okay. Well, so I'm sorry. The video is amazing. First of all, let's get that out of the way. If you've seen the camera segment and didn't skip, it's great. Now, here are the gripes that I have about the phone. When you use the camera, the 4K camera aspect, right now the phone is cool. It took about maybe 60 seconds or so to actually get the phone to cool down. You may ask what I've been doing. So if you watch the Ian West Network and you watch any of my shorts, I do videos most of the time in bulk, and then I release them day by day or week by week or whatever. I just get it out of the way, right? Especially if it's like pops and shorts and things like that. This right here, when I use the 4K camera, gets very, very hot. That is a problem that they did not take care of from the first Pixel. Now, same thing happened with the iPhone. Same thing happened with the Galaxy A54. When you're using the prolonged camera, phones get hot. They're not really prepared to use the camera. Like, there's no cooling system in any phone that I come across so far that can actually handle what these phones are capable of doing. So as the cameras get better, the phone typically gets warmer. The processor can only do so much to keep your phone cool, especially if you take off the what's it called, like the app thing where let me pull it up. I forget the name of it. Adaptive processor or something like that, where it's like a feature in some phones have where it looks at what you do and how you use your application, and it basically shifts the software, or it uses a certain amount of RAM and it regulates how your phone operates to keep it lag free, right? I haven't had any lag with this phone so far. Now, I did try something on purpose. Now, the only bad thing I really had to say about the camera, the second bad thing I have to say, and I got to be honest here, is that the network on this, I've had people say that they heard me breaking up. It wasn't my Bluetooth, because I use high-end Bluetooths. I use mid-tier Bluetooths. I've had other iPhones, iPhone 11s, iPhone XRs. I had Samsung devices. I had OnePlus devices. You see the channel. I had many phones and a lot of phones way before I did any reviews. None of those other phones had a network issue where it's just not that strong. Right now, I have like 1 bar out of like 3 based on the Pixel's bar system. That might be the equivalent of 2 bars or so. I'm not too sure. It just doesn't do a good job of holding reception. So it's a possibility that you might go in different locations and your reception just might not be good. Now, I haven't had any issue where the internet didn't work. The A54 5G, actually the internet stopped working a few times until I hung up, and then 5G UC popped right back up, which this phone does in fact have 5G UC also, the Pixel. I like it. It's a very good phone. No phone is perfect. Now, what I will say is if you're coming from an iPhone and you're coming from like iPhone XR, iPhone 11, iPhone 12, something happened to your device, it broke, and you have to use something else that's in an Android market and you don't mind Android and you're prepaid like me, I would say, and you're a Metro user, because I keep adding stuff to that, the Pixel 6a is going to be the best phone that any prepaid carrier currently right now can actually sell you. This is different from going on Amazon and getting something renewed. This is different from ordering a phone from overseas that has amazing camera specs for the same price. You have to understand that for that, oh my God, excuse me, I'm so sorry. For that $150 price tag, the phone works very, very well. Now, normally, if I was with T-Mobile, like the carrier T-Mobile and the main company where you pay off your phones in full, I wouldn't get a Pixel 6a because there's so many phones that you can get that would work better than this one, especially if you're paying that $80, $85 a month for a cell phone bill. You better believe I'll be getting a high-end phone, point blank. Otherwise, there's no reason for you to be paying a bill that high. You can go prepaid. But for the prepaid service, my expectations, I can't even say I lowered my expectations, because a lot of the phones like the A54 5G it's like a $469 phone. And when I look at what the phone is capable of versus the Pixel, outside of the screen size and the battery life, there's virtually nothing about the phone that's better. Maybe software, if you prefer Samsung software. Cameras were phenomenal too, don't get me wrong. The A54 had some fire cameras. But when you put them next to the Pixel 6a, it's laughable. Now, for you Pixel users, when you use the camera, I have to say this right in the video. When you use the camera, it's going to look very, very fuzzy. Don't mind that. When you snap the picture, it's going to process itself, go to the photos and take a look at your picture and see how clear that picture is. It's going to be crystal clear. I was one of those people where I first thought that I had a defective phone. Got the dry throat. I thought I had a defective phone at first and the cameras were terrible. But once I actually snapped the photo and saw myself in video and picture and things like that, phenomenal device. That's all I can say about that. But anyway, that's pretty much it. So if you're going to buy a prepaid device and you don't mind Team Pixel, This is ideal for a lot of people because it's higher than mid-tier. To me, the Pixel 6a, it can defeat the A54 5G, but it's also good enough to stop people from buying the S23 and also the S21 FE 5G. Get what I mean? It's in the middle ground where you won't be disappointed based on what the phone is capable of doing. But if you're trying to save money, this can hold you over easily. It could be your main device or it could hold you over and you'll be perfectly fine. Now, if you're coming from a Google 7 Pro, Google 6 Pro, you're going to notice a difference in the screen resolution. You're going to notice a difference in the cameras. You're going to notice a difference in a lot of other things, and it might be hard for you to downgrade. But for someone that's just looking for something that's affordable in the middle ground, this is definitely the ideal phone in my opinion. And I'm not going to tell you something because guess what? I'm not selling you a device. There's no affiliate links. There's none of that stuff. I just want you guys to walk into the store and understand that when you get this phone, expect it to be good. It works very well for me. It feels nice. It looks good. The 6.1 is kind of an issue for me because I prefer like 6.4 in terms of screen size, but it's not life or death. It doesn't inhibit anything that I do. Surprisingly, I think my videos have actually, some of them have been a lot better. Though, again, it gets warm during events, taking pictures, so make sure you have a case on it. Make sure you have a tempered glass on it, and just protect your investment. But anyway, like and subscribe like always, guys, and I'll see y'all in the next video where we talk more tech.